Once a week.
Twice a month?
Once a month.
Once every 3 months.
3 years?
As long as they fit me.
1 year.
Two until 3 years.
Less than 300.
$75 to $150.
150.
It depends. Is as cheap as the others, then yes.
Sure, why not?
Of course.
Of course.
Fast fashion trends nowadays have become more common for urban citizens. This term used by fashion retailers to describe clothes that are affordable and up-to-date with the fashion going on that time. But citizens did not notice that this fast fashion causes a lot of damage to our environment, because the polyester they use are made of carbon-intensive and non-renewable resource to make it low-cost and wrinkle-free. The fabric that are used for the clothes is not biodegradable, meaning when it gets thrown out, it ends up in landfills where it takes over 200 years to decompose. These are some examples of what happened in the world now with the textile industry. Tons of clothes bought and thrown every year across the world, not being recycled. So, where actually our clothes go after we throw them away? Clothes we throw were piled up and causing lots of natural problems. There are many effects caused by this clothes waste on land and water. The dyes from the clothes produce PB as the residual. In 2011 until 2014, Greenpeace said that a lot of clothes produce TBT and PFC. These elements are not biodegradable, and these elements potentially wiped out by rains to the rivers and cause the land to cover with these materials.
Cotton has been our choice of textile material for centuries now. People like it because of its comfort, durability, and its ability to control moisture. But the world is dying because of it. Why? Because it uses a lot of water during the growing process. Research says that 1 kilogram of cotton, equivalent to 1 t-shirt or 1 jeans, needs 2,700 liters of water, enough to fill 30 bathtubs. Another reason is because cotton needs more insecticides than other crops in common, which can lead to some health problems. Insecticides or pesticides can cause skin irritation, nausea, and other skin problems when direct contact happens. It is also very harmful to the farmers whom get exposed to pesticides long-term. Long-term exposure to pesticides can lead to Parkinson's disease, asthma, and many other bad things. Another downside is cotton takes centuries to decompose. For example, 1 cotton t-shirt takes 200 years to decompose. Facts also says that only 3% of used garments are recycled. Nowadays, there are several alternatives to this problem, such as BT cotton, and is also known as the genetically modified cotton. It is basically cotton plant injected with the Bacillus thuringiensis bacteria, which made them somewhat resistant to pests. Soy fabrics are textiles made from the hull of soybeans. These fabrics are made from either blended soybeans or entirely made out of soybeans. It is said that this kind of fabric has got a soft and elastic kind of feel to it. As for bamboo fabrics, they are made out of bamboo fibers, which are extracted from a heavily pulped bamboo grass. It doesn't really need pesticides nor agrochemicals to it, and it is said to be naturally disease and pest resistant. But all of these textiles have some downsides to it. For example, even though BT cotton is said to be resistant to pest infestations, sooner or later insects will continue to evolve and develop resistance to this genetically modified cotton. One example is a species of bollworm, or with the name Helicoverpazia. For soy fabrics, it is not as durable as cotton and uses a lot of chemicals during development. These chemicals are exposed to the factory workers, and even the environment will become exposed. Bamboo fabrics are really good in terms of comfortability, but it takes too long to dry, and it is not as durable. Furthermore, it uses a lot of chemicals to change their color from yellow to white. Although there are many alternatives for this problem, there are still so many downsides from these fabrics. How can we make a fabric that is durable, doesn't use too much chemicals, and doesn't use as much water as cotton does? Plus, the fabric also needs to be sustainable and can be recycled.
So our group came up with a solution to make a sustainable and biodegradable t-shirt from seaweed. Seaweed fiber is a water-soluble and serves as a holding fiber when blended with other cellulose matter. It's typically combined with eucalyptus fiber during lyocell production process, a solvent spinning technique where the cellulose undergoes no significant chemical change, by which eucalyptus form the functioning substrate from seaweed. The eucalyptus seaweed fabric blend contains benefits from human skin, especially from the UV light. And adding metal ions to the seaweed during the lyocell process creates an antibacterial element too. Meanwhile, antimicrobial fibers produced by conventional methods in seaweed manufacturing process can either be surface finished with antimicrobial active chemicals or produced by incorporating organic substance with antimicrobial effects, without losing the natural benefit of seaweed. So, according to its name, kelp, a brown seaweed, our team decided to name our clothing line Kelp Tees.
Why seaweed is better than cotton? Kelp tees is made out of kelp, a brown algae rich in seaweed fibers. Those fibers have considerable strength, and the cloth made out of kelp fiber is said to be sturdier than cotton. The clothes we wear today are made out of either synthetics from petroleum or natural fibers from land resources such as cotton, linen, and wool. And producing natural fibers takes a lot of research. Cotton, for example, needs a lot of water. As the two resources, land and oil, have been overexploited, it's time to look for an alternative.
And how do you actually make kelp tees?
First of all, wet fresh seaweed from ocean is dried. Then, the dried seaweed is crushed into the seaweed powder. Afterward, the seaweed powder is mixed with wood pulp. The silver metal activated ions is added to the seaweed powder and wood pulp mixture. Then, this final mixture compound will be dissolved in the first step of lyocell process. After that, the several machines will be used in the next steps of lyocell process, including spinning, precipitating, washing, and drying. The last step of lyocell process is winding. This step will produce the final string that we use to produce our kelp tees. Our target is to make 1,000 kelp tees. According to RAM T-shirt blog, the weight of one medium-sized T-shirt is 134 grams. If we are going to make 1,000 kelp tees, the total weight will be 134 kilograms. Based on Spinnery's Thrift AG, kelp tees is made out of 70% of cotton and 30% of seaweed fiber. Calculate how many kilograms of cotton do we need. 70% multiplied by 134 kilograms, we get 93.8 kilograms of cottons. With same method, calculate how many kilograms of seaweed fibers do we need. 30% multiplied by 134 kilograms, we get 40.2 kilograms of seaweed fibers. Because we need 40.2 kilograms of seaweed fibers, we will need dried seaweed with the same amount. According to FAO, the ratio of wet fresh seaweed and dried seaweed is 10:1. Means if we need 40.2 kg of dried seaweed, 402 kg of wet fresh seaweed from ocean will be needed. According to CFDEC, we found that the production rate of fresh seaweed from ocean is 2,488 kg per hectare. To calculate how big land that we need, 402 kg of fresh seaweed divided by 2,488, we get 0.16158 hectare or 161.58 square meter.
Calculation for the cost of normal shirts made of cotton or polyester. Based on one of biggest clothing industry in Indonesia. Now we talk about t-shirt made of 100% cotton. First, multiply its material weight by 0.836 to convert the measurement unit from gram per square meter to gram per square yard. To find the price with USD per square yard unit, divided the original price with the width yard unit. Given that for 60-inch width, we need 1.18 yards of fabric for making one garment. So multiply 1.18 yards with 60 inch, then divide it by the width material, which is 57 inch. Since each fabric has different width, we need to convert the consumption to same dimension, which is square yard. Hence, we need to calculate the original width divided by 36 as 1 yard is equal to 36 inch. Then we get the garment consumption with the correct unit of measure is 1.97 square yard per piece. To find the weight of a single piece of t-shirt, multiply the garment consumption with the material weight, then divide it by 1000 to get the kilograms unit. We know that the price of one t-shirt is 3.65 USD. We can get that from multiply the material price with the garment consumption. Then the price for 1 kilogram material is 15.98 USD. We get that from the price one t-shirt divided by the weight of 1 kilogram material.
So, to produce 1,000 clothes out of 100% cotton, we will need 134 kilograms of cotton, which will cost us approximately 2,141.32 US dollar. And as for the workers, we will need 6 to 7 people who will do a 10-hour shift a day in 5 working days. So if we times 7 people by 10 hours and 5 days, we will get 1,680 US dollar for the total cost of the worker. And 0.08 US dollar is the price that I got from the Indonesian factory of the minimum wage of each worker. Machine. We approximately use 16 machines to produce 1,000 clothes, where each of them is 500 watts. Therefore, the total cost will be 16 times 500 times 10 hours times 5 days, and it will equal to 400 kilowatt hour, which means that we will need 400 US dollar since 1 kilowatt hour equals to 1 US dollar. As to produce 1,000 club tees, I will count 70% from the 100% cotton t-shirt, which is 4,221.32 times by 70%, which equals to 2,954 US dollar. As for the 30% of seaweed, I will divide them into 2 categories, which is labor and transport. Since every hectare will cost 2,860 US dollar, and we will only need 0.16158, it will cost us 462.1188 US dollar. And for the material cost, since it costs 13,800 US dollar per hectare, and we only need 0.16158, it will cost us 2,229.804 US dollar. Therefore, we will get a total of 2,691.9228 US dollar for 30% of seaweed. So to conclude both of the price from 100% cotton and club tees, I will count the total cost for both of them. For 100% of cotton, It will cost you $4,221.32 and for cup teas with 70% cotton and 30% seaweed, it will cost you $5,645.92. So even though club teas is slightly more expensive than 100% cotton, we believe that it has its own selling power because it is eco-friendly, sustainable, and also biodegradable. If we don't take care of our environment, then who will?